Happy birthday!
Remember that magical snowman who came to life with a top hat? Frosty wasn't just a Christmas special.
I'll be back on Christmas Day!
It was a calculated response to Charlie Brown's success.
Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown! Hark the herald angels sing.
That featured celebrity narration, tragic melting scenes, and a production timeline so rushed it nearly didn't air. Today, we're counting down 20 wild facts about the snowman who defined holiday television but almost never existed. It was created to replicate Charlie Brown's success. Rankin Bass Productions created Frosty the Snowman explicitly to capitalize on a Charlie Brown Christmas earning massive ratings in 1965.
This really brings Christmas close to a person. Fantastic.
CBS executives demanded their own iconic Christmas special and approached Rankin Bass with specific instructions. Adapt a beloved Christmas song, keep it under 30 minutes, and deliver it within 12 months.
Frosty the Snowman was alive as he could be.
The studio selected Frosty the Snowman because the 1950 Gene Autry recording was recognizable.
Frosty the Snowman knew the sun was hot that day,
but lacked existing visual interpretation, giving them creative freedom. This wasn't artistic inspiration, it was commercial calculation. Jimmy Durante narrated for only 4 hours of work. Legendary entertainer. Jimmy Durante voiced the narrator, performed the opening and closing musical numbers.
Frosty the Snowman's song indicates that he is mobile, and he marches around and sings his song.
But his total time commitment was approximately 4 hours across 2 recording sessions. Durante was 76 years old during production and had severe health issues that limited his stamina. His distinctive gravelly voice was immediately recognizable to adult audiences, giving the special cross-generational appeal children's programming typically lacked. Durante recorded his segments separately from all other voice actors and never interacted with the production team beyond those 2 sessions. The animation was outsourced to Japan. All animation was produced by Mushi Production in Tokyo, the studio founded by legendary animator Osamu Tezuka. This outsourcing decision cut costs by approximately 60% compared to American Animation Union rates. However, it created communication problems. American writers and directors sent storyboards to Japan, then waited weeks for completed animation to return by air freight. If anything was wrong, there wasn't time to redo it. Whatever came back from Japan was what aired. This explains numerous visual inconsistencies throughout the special. Character proportions change between scenes. Background details appear and disappear randomly. Frosty's design varies slightly throughout the special because different animators interpreted model sheets differently. The special was written in 3 weeks. Romeo Muller, who wrote numerous Rankin Bass specials, received the Frosty assignment with an impossible 3-week deadline to deliver a complete script. He worked 16-hour days expanding the 2-minute song into a 22-minute narrative with character development, conflict, and resolution. Muller invented Professor Hinkle, the villainous magician whose hat brings Frosty to life. Because the song provided no explanation for the magic, he created Karen, the little girl protagonist, to give the story an emotional center and human perspective. The greenhouse climax where Frosty melts was Muller's addition. The original song simply said Frosty would be back again someday, without explaining how or why. Muller later admitted the script wasn't my best work, but it was done fast and it worked. Jackie Vernon was cast because he was cheap. Frosty's voice came from comedian Jackie Vernon, a nightclub performer and frequent talk show guest with a distinctively deadpan delivery. Vernon wasn't Rankin Bass's first choice. They wanted a bigger name celebrity, but couldn't afford anyone after spending their celebrity budget on Jimmy Durante. Vernon accepted scale payment, approximately $500, because he needed television exposure to boost his struggling comedy career. His flat emotionless vocal delivery was actually perfect for Frosty's innocent, childlike personality. Vernon treated Frosty like a curious toddler, experiencing everything for the first time, which made the character endearing rather than boring. The greenhouse scene was considered too traumatic. When CBS executives previewed the completed special, several expressed serious concerns about the greenhouse melting sequence where Frosty appears to die.
They were finished. They had no feeling in their fingers, but there was plenty happening in their hearts.
They worried children would be traumatized watching a beloved character literally melt into a puddle while his friends watch helplessly. Network Standards and Practices Department debated cutting the scene entirely and replacing it with narration, explaining Frosty went to the North Pole. Rankin Josh Bass fought to keep the scene, arguing children needed to experience loss and resurrection as part of the Christmas narrative. The compromise? Adding Santa Claus's immediate revival of Frosty within the same scene to minimize the trauma duration. Paul Frees voiced every other male character. Voice acting legend Paul Frees performed Professor Hinkle, Santa Claus, the traffic cop, and several other minor characters, essentially every male voice except Frosty and the narrator.
You see, he was made out of Christmas snow, and Christmas snow can never disappear completely.
This wasn't creative choice. It was budget necessity. Hiring one voice actor to perform multiple roles saved thousands of dollars in union fees and residual payments. Frees was legendary for his ability to create distinct character voices rapidly without extensive preparation. He recorded all his various characters in a single 4-hour session, switching between voices with minimal rehearsal. Modern viewers watching carefully can identify the same voice actor across multiple characters, but 1969 television audiences watching on small speakers generally didn't notice. The special was completed only 5 days before broadcast. Frosty the Snowman premiered on December 7, 1969, and the final edited version was delivered to CBS on December 2nd, exactly 5 days before airtime. This catastrophically tight deadline resulted from animation delays in Japan and miscommunication about shipping schedules. CBS had already sold advertising and promoted the special extensively, making cancellation impossible despite the production being dangerously behind schedule. The final 2 days involved round-the-clock editing to meet broadcast technical specifications. No time existed for test screenings or focus groups. The first time general audiences saw the special was during its live broadcast. Several technical errors made it to air, including a visible splice mark during one scene transition and audio sync issues during the Frosty the Snowman musical number. Santa Claus appears for only 90 seconds. Despite being crucial to the plot resolution, Santa Claus appears for approximately 90 seconds of screen time in the 25-minute special. His appearance was minimized because Rankin Bass was simultaneously producing other Christmas specials featuring Santa more prominently and didn't want to dilute his special status across multiple programs. Writers struggled with how to resolve Frosty's melting without Santa, but couldn't find an alternative solution that made logical sense within Christmas mythology. Santa's Deus Ex Machina appearance, arriving suddenly to solve everything, was criticized by animation critics as lazy storytelling. Professor Hinkle was based on W.C. Fields' character designers and voice director explicitly modeled Professor Hinkle on comedian W.C. Fields, copying his physical appearance, temperament, and speech patterns. The bumbling, incompetent magician who resents children matched Fields' established screen persona perfectly. Billy DeWolf, who voiced Hinkle, performed a direct W.C. Fields impression throughout recording sessions, emphasizing the nasal delivery and condescending tone Fields made famous. This characterization created an immediately recognizable archetype for adult viewers, while children simply saw a funny villain. The reference worked as dual audience appeal. Kids laughed at Hinkle's failures, while parents recognized and appreciated the W.C. Fields homage. The special's budget was only $80,000. The entire production budget was approximately $80,000, remarkably low even by 1969 television standards. For comparison, A Charlie Brown Christmas cost $96,000 4 years earlier. Rankin Ja Bass achieved this low budget through Japanese outsourcing, minimal voice cast, heavy stock music usage, and simple character designs requiring fewer animation cells per second. The limited budget showed in the final product's technical quality, but audiences didn't care. The emotional storytelling and nostalgic music overcame the production limitations. CBS earned massive advertising revenue from the special's high ratings, making it extraordinarily profitable despite its cheap production. This financial success established a template: invest minimally in Christmas specials, rely on nostalgia and music for emotional appeal, and profit enormously from annual re-airings. The model worked for decades across countless holiday specials. Karen's voice actress was recorded separately in Canada. June Foray, who voiced Karen, recorded her performance in Toronto rather than at the main New York recording sessions. Foray was simultaneously working on another production in Canada and couldn't travel to New York during Frosty's tight recording schedule. She recorded her lines alone in a Canadian studio with only a director on speakerphone, providing guidance, never hearing the other actors' performances. This isolation created noticeable disconnection in her line delivery. Karen's dialogue sometimes doesn't quite match the emotional energy of scenes. Modern voice directors consider recording actors separately, a significant mistake that damages performance chemistry, but 1960s production schedules prioritize speed over quality. The special accidentally created Frosty's personality. The original 1950 song provided almost no character information beyond Frosty was a jolly, happy soul. Everything else, his childlike curiosity, innocent confusion, determination to reach the North Pole, and friendship with Karen, was invented for the television special. Writer Romeo Moeller created these personality traits essentially by accident, making creative decisions under extreme time pressure without realizing he was establishing canonical Frosty characterization for all future adaptations. Jackie Vernon's gentle, naive vocal performance further defined the character in ways the song never suggested. Every subsequent Frosty adaptation, including multiple sequels, books, and stage productions, borrowed the personality traits established by this special's rushed creative decisions. There was serious debate about making it stop motion. Rankin Bass was famous for stop-motion animation specials, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and executives seriously considered making Frosty using the same technique. Preliminary stop-motion character designs were created and test footage was filmed. However, stop-motion would have required 18 months of production time versus 10 months for traditional animation. The railroad sequence was added to extend runtime. The entire sequence where Frosty and Karen ride the train to the North Pole was created purely to extend the special's runtime to meet the required 25-minute length for commercial broadcast. The original script ran only 18 minutes, creating a serious problem. CBS had sold advertising based on a half-hour time slot. Writer Romeo Muller quickly added the train sequence, Professor Hinkle following them, and the Ticketmaster interaction to fill the time gap. These scenes don't significantly advance the plot and feel narratively padded, because they literally were padding. Animation studios call this stretching the rubber band, adding scenes that maintain forward momentum without contributing meaningful story development. CBS wanted to cut the melting scene. Entirely beyond concerns about traumatizing children, CBS executives had a financial reason for wanting to remove Frosty's melting scene. They believed the death imagery would reduce the special's re-airing value and make it less suitable for perpetual holiday rotation. Network research suggested parents avoided showing children programming with sad or scary content, potentially limiting future audiences. CBS proposed replacing the greenhouse climax with Frosty simply deciding to go live at the North Pole permanently, avoiding death entirely. Rankin Bass threatened to remove their names from the production if CBS made this change, arguing it would destroy the special's emotional impact It beat The Wizard of Oz in the ratings. Frosty the Snowman's December 7, 1969 premiere earned a 27.8 rating and 50 share, meaning half of all television sets in use that evening were tuned to Frosty. The special directly competed against NBC's annual airing of The Wizard of Oz, which had been a holiday television tradition since 1959. Frosty not only competed, but dominated, pulling viewers away from the established classic. This ratings victory shocked the television industry and validated CBS's investment in original holiday programming. The Wizard of Oz never recovered its previous holiday dominance, and NBC eventually moved it to different time slots. Frosty's victory demonstrated that new holiday content could successfully compete with established classics if it connected emotionally with audiences. The ratings success guaranteed Frosty's annual re-airing and established it as a permanent holiday television fixture. Jackie Vernon never understood why Frosty was popular. Despite voicing one of television's most beloved characters, comedian Jackie Vernon never understood Frosty's appeal and remained perpetually frustrated by his association with the character. In interviews throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Vernon complained that his nightclub comedy work was ignored while people only wanted to discuss a stupid snowman. He found the character's innocent personality boring and wished Frosty had been written with more edge and humor. Vernon particularly resented that his distinctive deadpan comedy style, which made him successful in nightclubs, was completely absent from Frosty's earnest characterization. He continued voicing Frosty in sequels purely for financial reasons, calling it the only steady paycheck in show business. His bitterness about the role became a running joke among voice acting professionals, who viewed Vernon as unable to appreciate his own success. The special saved Rankin Bass from bankruptcy. By mid-1969, Rankin Bass Productions faced severe financial difficulties. Their previous few specials had underperformed, production costs were escalating, and the company was considering bankruptcy. Frosty the Snowman was literally their last chance. If the special failed, the company would have folded entirely. The special's massive ratings success and immediate merchandising opportunities saved the company, generating enough revenue to fund operations for another year. More importantly, it proved Rankin/Bass could reliably produce hit Christmas specials, leading to contracts for multiple future holiday productions. Every subsequent Rankin/Bass Christmas special, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, The Little Drummer Boy, Rudolph's Shiny New Year, and many others, existed because Frosty's success kept the company alive. Without Frosty, Rankin Bass would have disappeared, and decades of beloved holiday specials would never have been created. It established the modern Christmas special formula. Frosty the Snowman created the template every subsequent animated Christmas special followed for decades. Adapt a beloved Christmas song into a 25-minute narrative. Include a moment of sadness or loss followed by magical resolution. Feature celebrity narration for adult appeal. Add merchandisable characters, and conclude with the promise that Christmas magic is real and eternal. This formula became the industry standard. Santa Claus is Coming to Town, The Little Drummer Boy, Rudolph's Shiny New Year, and countless other specials borrowed this exact structure. Even non-Rankin Bass productions copied the formula religiously. So there you have it. 20 wild facts proving Frosty the Snowman wasn't just a charming holiday special. It was a rushed commercial calculation that accidentally saved a company, established an entire genre formula, and created emotional childhood memories from a production that almost didn't make it to air. The wildest part? A special created in desperate financial panic with impossible deadlines became so beloved it's been watched by 4 generations and still airs annually 5 decades later.